Hello, it's Mrs. Downs, the English teacher here, going over a quick reading strategy with you today because I just want to make sure that you're giving yourself the best chance you can possibly have of understanding complex texts and simple texts. And one of the great ways to do that is to look at each thing you read and think to yourself, what caused this thing to happen? It's actually a good life strategy too. We can learn from our cause and effects in our own life. But I want to start out by letting you know, if we look at Little House on the Prairie, and we ask ourselves for a few events in that book that happened. If we say, I got to think of 3 cause and effects, what I want you to know is you should never start with the cause. Don't ask yourself, what caused something in the book? You will get yourself confused in a hurry. I know in English and reading, we tend to go left to right. But on cause and effect, you should start on the right and then go back and ask yourself why and get that left box filled in, okay? So if I were to do this with Little House on the Prairie, I would say the Ingalls family moved west, right? They moved west, they go into Kansas, and if I were to then ask myself the critical question of why did they move west? Well, I remember in the beginning of the book, Laura talks about how Paul was concerned about how populated Wisconsin had become. It was becoming crowded. It was becoming hard to be a trapper or a hunter because there were more and more hunters and trappers around, and it was too crowded for Paul. So if I said the effect is the Ingalls family moved west, and I asked myself why, I wouldn't start it with because, I would just write in a complete sentence, Wisconsin had become too crowded for Pa to be a hunter or trapper, period. When I look back at that, I would see cause, Wisconsin had become too crowded for Pa to be a hunter or trapper, period. Effect, the Ingalls family moved west. Does that work? Yes. That does work. I could put the word so between cause and effect here. The area had become too crowded, so the Ingalls family moved west. It works. I know that I now have a cause and effect statement. Don't start your cause statement with the word because. Just make a complete sentence for me, and I'll know exactly what you're saying. The trick is you have to look at the story that you're reading or the text you're reading and think to yourself, what are some things that happened? And write those in a list on the effect side. Don't ask yourself, can I think of a cause in the book, something that caused something else to happen? Or, what's the cause of this? And then I'll have a cause and effect. No, just tell me 3 things that happened and then ask yourself why. The Ingalls family struggled to get over the river in the beginning of the book. That's an effect. That's something that happened in the story, a famous scene. Then you would ask yourself, why? Why did they struggle to get over that river? Well, if we remember back, the water rose much more quickly than it ever had before. Paul said that, didn't he? He said, I've never seen a river rise that quickly. That would be our cause. So our effect would be the Ingalls family struggled to get through the river. The cause, the water rose more quickly than it ever does. Period. You have a cause and effect. And that way I know I actually made sense there. I have 2 complete sentences. My cause is a sentence. My effect is a sentence. One did cause the other. And I didn't get myself tripped up in events because I started with the effect. I started on the right. I just talked about something that happened, anything that happened. And then I asked myself one critical question. Why did that happen? And when I can answer that question, I now have my cause.